Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm just gonna wait a little bit, start slowly and see if anyone is around who might want to join, but I was gonna make a video to do a little bit of a roundup of my trip to Detroit and to show some LPs. And those of you who've looked at some of my other channels over the last few months know that I'm a big Google Maps fan. So, yeah. So I think it's always nice to kind of see how people kind of spend their afternoon, how they make it to the record store, the route they take. I've got a couple other streams, other videos already up. One on a great walk in downtown Toronto, which I've shared a few times, and that's of course on my channel. If you want to check it out, make sure to hit a thumbs up if you like it, or a thumbs down if you think it's crap. That was a joke, the last one. And also to hit subscribe. All right, so why don't we get going? Because it's the afternoon, and I don't know, I just couldn't get organized enough to kind of do a proper video recording. So I thought, hey, listen, let's just do a stream and do it live and see how it goes. All right. I think I always say this to my pals. It's always really strange, when you're in Canada and you arrive at a well-known city in Canada, this being Windsor, Ontario, and you look across the river and you're looking to the north. You're looking north to the United States. So it's a bit weird, a little bit of a weird scenario going on. Anyway, so I had to go down to Windsor for some work. So I went a couple days in advance to hang out in Detroit. I haven't been down to Detroit in many years, but I was told by a number of the kind of jazz bum crew, few people. Jeffrey L was super helpful, and also Paul and Valley kind of chimed in now and again. So a few shout outs to those guys for helping to recommend some of the places that I eventually ended up heading to. Okay, so let's start over here. Okay, they're actually building a new bridge, I'm going to say. I don't know where it is. It's kind of over here somewhere. And they're like one slab away from finishing the new bridge. This bridge here, the Ambassador Bridge, is the busiest, interesting tidbit. It's the busiest border crossing I've heard in North America. So I wonder if that includes Mexico. That kind of surprised me because you sit there and I was at the university for a little while and I was watching all the trucks go by, and it didn't seem that busy. Anyway, so that's how I got over to the city. Again, I hadn't been there since 1969 or 1989, 1969. Holy shit. Yeah, long time ago. Okay, we got Dagon showing up. All right. So the first place I went to, I'll drop a link in a second if anyone wants to come up and chat with me here. But let me kind of get this going a little bit to warm up. And I've only had one coffee today. But if you've been paying any attention at all on the Jazz Bums Discord, lots of folks from in and around Detroit have been talking about this fabulous record store called People's Records. So that was the first one. Boom, straight there. I'm going to say Sunday afternoon. It's a bit strange, so I don't know. It's hard to kind of judge, right? When you go to a record store for the first time, whether or not it's when they drop their new stuff, right? When they have the new collections, usually around Toronto. I'm not sure what it's like other places. Feel free to drop a note. In the Peanut Gallery, it's usually kind of Thursday afternoon, Friday, right? Because that's the busiest time for record stores. So so that's what I do here in Toronto is kind of go around on Friday afternoon and kind of sniff out the new stuff that's in the bins. But for various reasons, my own schedule, I won't bore you with that. I arrive on a Sunday afternoon. Luckily, they're still open, or they're open on a Sunday, and I head inside. Let's just have a look. It's right downtown Detroit. It's in kind of the market area. So actually, this is a good place to end up, or maybe another way of putting it is to kind of go there around lunchtime, because there's lots of great places to go around here. There's a few breweries. Again, it was Sunday, so I wasn't really in the mood for a drink, but I guess it kind of it cooks there, right? There's a bunch of restaurants and what have you. It's got lots of places to park around here, so it wasn't that hard. Anyway, so let's have just a couple looks at some photos from the outside. I think there's a great cafe next door, I'm going to say, and then there's also another brewery a door down. So it's kind of an interesting neighborhood. When you go in, you can kind of see here. This is a cash register behind, and there's a section here that I think they had like an ECM bin. They definitely had a Blue Note bin, and an Impulse one, and maybe my pals from Detroit would be able to correct me and talk about some other stuff there. So that tends to be kind of the collectibles there, and I'm going to say that it kind of starts at about $20 and up, something like that. So yeah, so that's the place to go to when you arrive. And then there was also a new jazz arrivals bin, which is over here. Okay, so this is kind of like you walk right in. The folks are over here on the right. There's about 3 bins of new jazz there. I'm going to say that is anywhere from $10 to $30. Again, really decent prices. And then they have a whole section kind of here at the back. Well, you can kind of see it. Let me zoom in. Jazz. Voila. Okay, so hang on. We got a few people joining, so I'm just gonna hit. I'm just gonna copy the link and plunk it in there. And if people are interested in joining, then let me know. Okay, but peoples, let's pull out a couple LPs. Holy shit, the bag of truth. Does anyone have what? No one talks about bags, right? They're like LP bag. Isn't that great? It's a Adidas LP bag that I got at a concert in, what was a festival actually. Maybe we can see that. Oop, other side, Greg. Sonar 2015. That was in Barcelona. I don't know if anyone else has been to Sonar. It was really cool, and I was doing some work there too. There was actually a little mini conference on Vimeo. So they wanted to talk to kind of cultural and video producers about how to rejig their platform. So it was cool, but also there were some great bands there, and I got this amazing kind of DJ bag. Yeah. All right. Sorry, I should have prepared these before, but like I said, I was all ready to just record a video, but whatever. It's kind of crappy weather today here. I don't know. And let's just do it and see what happens. Okay, where should we start? We should start by making sure that those don't fall over. Crash bang, that would be good, huh? Holy crash bang. Fucks. Okay, hang on. Well, let's go back to me here. This was probably one of the cheaper LPs I got. It's like $14. Wasn't really in the market for it, but Tommy Flanagan, I'm a big fan. Elvin Jones. This is one that I actually haven't listened to yet on Enya. I'm not sure if anyone else has that, but that was a pretty simple, pretty easy buy there. Probably can't see it says People Records. So again, that was That was probably one of my least interesting buys, but I couldn't put it down. Big Flanagan fan. Okay, what else we got here? John Zorn. I'm not sure how many people are into free jazz, and he was so big in the 80s and 90s as well. And there's not a lot of John Zorn on vinyl, except for again maybe Naked City and some of the other stuff back then. But this is of course the Sonny Clark Memorial Quartet. And again, in terms of over the last, well, I think this is from the 80s actually. So I was going to say this is a more recent one, but it's not. And that's on, let me pull it out. That's on Black Saint. Oh God, that looks like shit, doesn't it? Can't even see that. What the hell is going on? What the hell? Whoa, that's better, huh? The vinyl itself feels a little thin, I'm gonna say. There we go, that's better. That's much better. But this one's been on my radar for a while. I haven't played this one, but it is just absolute. Again, and my camera's not very good today, but well, you can see it's shiny, very shiny. That I think was one of my most expensive ones. That one was, I think, in the $20, almost $30 range. Okay, so that was from Peoples as well. Let's keep on digging. That one, yeah, I showed this on the Wax stream. I'm going to say earlier in the week. It's Lee Morgan's. It's his first LP. I think it's called Introducing Lee Morgan, and this is the French copy. Okay, BYG. People are probably familiar with that one. Not a bad price on it. Nice gatefold. There's a couple versions of this around. Some kind of groovy pictures. Check it out. Check it out. Look at this guy. Look at that smile, huh? And that stash. You don't have it. And that tie is just freaking. That Hank Jones there. His tie is just freaking me out. Freaking me out on a Saturday afternoon. You go. Okay, there's the upside down. Why is it that whenever you pull it out, it's always upside down? I haven't had a chance to listen to that. I don't know why. I'm just pulling out all the ones that I haven't listened to yet. But so yeah, I'm in Detroit. I've been there for like a couple hours, and I think I've already got like 4 or 5 albums in my hands. I think I walked out. I think I got about a dozen or so LPs here. There was a nice, I would say Detroit in general has a pretty decent selection of Liberty, and then Black Bee, White Bee, early 70s Blue Note. And I'm going to say the prices are very good. They're from, well, this one is there's quite a few copies of Mr. Shingaling around. Not my favorite LP, but it's groovy, and it was $15. Dead clean. I think this is a 66 copy, any 60s Liberties copy, but for $15, it's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome find, I'm gonna say. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's some kind of surface on it, surface scuffles here or there, but it's in pretty good shape. That one I did a little bit of a clean on, and I listened to it yesterday, and it sounds powerful, beautiful. It's got a Van Gelder stamp in it. So yeah, we haven't gone back to the map. I'm like all about the map, but I guess I got so many albums from Peoples that I think we just kind of, anyway, let's keep on going. I'm going to shut up. Maybe I'm not going to shut up. This was behind the desk. It was up on the Wall of Truth. Well-known album, of course. It was just reissued, last year. This is one of my favorite albums, right? So this is a 77 Blue Note reissue. It does have an RVG stamp in it, and I'm going to say not only is it my favorite album, but I think it sounds absolutely terrific. It'd be really interesting to hear a '60s copy. Again, I didn't buy the new reissue, the Kevin Gray new reissue, but I'm more than happy with the way this sounds. So if you see, it's a white B. It's a '77, so quite late in terms of reissues with stamps on them, but it sounds absolutely amazing. So I was super happy. I think that was kind of the find of the trip again, personally. Probably a lot of people have that in their collection, but again, it's I've been kind of holding out on a copy. I bought some shitty copy and at the what's the place in Manhattan called, the Record Center, whatever, and then in Midtown. Went out and paid like $15 for it, brought it home, and it skips and it sounds like shit. Oh my god! I just threw it out. I think I threw it in the recycling bin, like with such disdain too. Like, "Ugh." All right, Gene Ammons. Gene Ammons is everywhere in Detroit. A lot of prestige. Gene Ammons. What year is this one? This is an OGC actually, for a very nice price. I don't think it has been ever played, but it's originally from '55. So it kind of swings a bit. It's great. Look at that lineup: Lou Donaldson, um, Sonny, Gene Ammons battles the Sonny Stitt. How about that? Huh? Art Farmer, Kenny Clark, Freddie Red. So a '55 session. Originally, well, it says remastered by Van Gelder. I'm not sure if it was originally. That's a good question. Did he ever remaster stuff that he didn't originally master? That I don't know the answer to that question. Who does? Who knows? Anyway, so again, that's an OJC 83. I'm going to say something like that. These are very desirable. It sounds absolutely fantastic for a really very reasonable price. Okay, let's keep on going. We're still at the first stop in Detroit. It's all right. The other ones, the other stops will be that I'll show. We'll go back to the map and I'll just show you. I'll just kind of show you what my take was from some of those stops. They were good record stores. I don't know. Maybe I should have just gone to People's at the end, because there was. I'll talk about it as we go along. Anyway, so yo, Jazz Bums. Who's that? Is that Chris or Mike? It's probably Chris. I'm gonna say it's Chris. I think Chris has his finger on the Jazz Bums account. So, but if you wanna come up, Chris, if it is Chris, let me know. Mel Waldron, I think I showed this one too on Wax Stream on Tuesday. Moods. There's a copy going for like $50 here in Toronto, and I was like, "You've got to be joking." This is a double album on Intercity. It also, not only has it got Mal, of course, but it's got Teru Masahino and, well, Steve Lacy as well. I played this one last night after a couple drinks, and it was, holy shit, it was awesome. That one was $15. Really great album. What year is that? I want to say 83, but I think I'm just totally spitballing on that. 78, 83, what the fuck? Highly recommend that. Highly recommend it if you don't have it. So keep your eyes out for Mel Waldron moods. Okay. What's next? I was gonna ping Paul to see if he wanted to join, but again, I'm actually there. I guess the reason why I'm doing it now is because I'm going to see Cortex tonight. Is anyone like Cortex? It's like really cheesy French jazz. Let me let me see if I can find the cover. It was reissued a couple years ago. Troupeau Bleu. Does anyone? Na 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 na. Ring a bell, anyone? There it is there. Sorry, there's the cover. Not sure if anyone grooves on that stuff. Okay. Whoa, wow! Holy smokes. It gets fucking weird. Anyway, so yeah, so that's where I'm going tonight. So I think because of that, I'm like, hey man, let's do a stream and then I can have dinner and then go see Cortex. I wonder how you say Cortex in French. Corte? Yeah, that was bad. I should have just stuck with the album, shouldn't I? Okay, what else we got here? Another OJC. We're still at People's Records here. A Garland of Red, his famous trio with Chambers, Art Taylor, again OJC. I think that's like 82 or 83. Okay, originally on Prestige. This one, I haven't had a chance to listen to this one though. So I couldn't tell you, but I think this also was just, yeah, it is minty mint. Hasn't been played. Yeah, so good heaping of OJCs, I'm gonna say, in Detroit and at People's as well. All right, what else we got here? No, that's another store that we'll talk about in a minute. All right. Okay. I'm a big fan of Chico. You know, there's particularly with when Gabor is on it. Okay. Let's open this up. This is a gatefold. This is an original Impulse. You used to be able to get these things for like $8, you know. It's a really nice gatefold, isn't it? But who we got? Jimmy Cheatham, Sato Watanabe is also on alto. Al Stinson, Gabor Szabo, Victor Pantoja. I don't know. Victor looks like he's helping out with the Latin percussion, it says. So this is, listened to it last night. Sounds great. Definitely more percussive, more kind of bongos and other, you know, percussion instruments. So quite unlike a lot of his stuff, actually. You don't hear a lot of Chico Hamilton necessarily. Let's see if I can get that. That's a little bit better. Shit, got to fix my light. Sorry, everyone. There we go. And that was there's some scuffs on that one. Not bad. Hard to find originals though. RVG and the Dead Wax in that one. Okay, so that's El Chico Hamilton. Listen to that again. Really great LP. Okay, let's see what else we got. I don't know. This one's just been on my list for a while. It's not hard to find it, but I haven't had a chance to. It's a blue one, so I'm going to say it's like a 66, not the one with the radio on the top, but in nice shape. Again, I think that was around $12 or so. Yeah, that one looks, you know, totally clean. Cannonball Adderley, one of my faves. So that was another purchase. I'm not keeping track here of how many we got at People's, but that's pretty awesome. Pickup has been on my list for a while. And then I think so. This looks to be the last one, yeah, that I got at People's, a very well-known Horace Silver Quintet album, Song for My Father. This is a 66 Liberty. So very happy to find that one. There we go. Labels. And that was going for, I think I talked him down a little bit. That was about $25, that one. And again, like everything, like they're there was quite a selection of Blue Notes, and including Liberties. Not as many OGs, of course, but I found that you really needed to kind of check out the quality of the wax, which is kind of a stupid thing to say. I know we all do it, or we should all be doing it, but it seemed like there was quite a bit of scuffed up stuff in and around in most of the stores I found in Detroit. I know people take chances sometimes. You run your finger. Is it a deep scratch? There's all different ways. I don't know if you have maybe leave a note in the comments or in the peanut gallery about how you make a decision based on whether or not something is too scuffed up, because stuff is cheap there, right? It is cheap, but still, you don't want to waste money. Okay, all right. Let's stop blathering on about wasting money, because I didn't do any of that. Let's move back to Detroit. Let's go back to Detroit. Where are we? Okay, we are still in People's Records. So yeah, ended up there for a good, you got to leave yourself at least an hour and a half. It was later in the day, so my Detroit pals gave me some advice. I was staying over here on the kind of west side of town in Dearborn, which is kind of interesting. There's like just, there's a Ford kind of campus, and there's a museum, all this. So this is quite a huge amount of land that the Ford estate, the Ford company, of course, their international headquarters are over here. So I was kind of staying over here in Dearborn, which is why I headed all the way down here. I think Jeffrey L. told me to head down here to Hello Records. Hello Records, a smaller record store. You kind of see. Let's see if we can go inside. They had a pretty good wall of stuff inside. Not so much. It's one of those places where you go into and they're not like the proper bins. Do you know what I mean? Where you go there and it's kind of tabletop level, and you go in. They're the bins. You go in there, and it's more like what would you call those? Kind of display counters. Do you know what I mean? And you can only fit you can only fit like, I don't know, shit. How many can you fit up there? You can fit like, I don't know, like 5. So there's kind of a wall of these display things, but there's really only how many? I don't know. There's maybe there's 100 records in there. So they kind of have a wall of these display bins. Flipping through them. That's the regular kind of collection there. I didn't really see anything all that interesting, but they do have a pretty good new arrival section, which I think they had at least one big bin. They had one big bin, and then of jazz, and then they had one of soul or rare groove, disco, stuff like that. So yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna say that this is a worthwhile trip to make. Actually, that looks like an old picture there, doesn't it? Because that's not what it looks like anymore. So they must have moved over the years. Yeah, because that's what it looks like now. So yeah, it's a little bit out of the way. They did have some Blue Notes and Prestige and Impulse there. I'm gonna say the prices are definitely more than they were at People's. They were still a pretty good deal. I'm gonna say. I would say, of all the places that I checked out, this is one that I would definitely go back to. Okay, so did I buy anything there? I feel like I did, but I feel like it's downstairs. Oops, probably on my turntable. So I'm going to say, sorry, give me a second. I thought I had it here. Maybe it's down on the floor. Yeah, here we go. They are here. Okay. Yeah, that was, here we go. Yeah, sorry, I did buy a couple things from Hello Records. Kind of a weird name for a store. Hang on a second. Let me go back to me. Zero in on me. Can you read that? Yeah, one of Lee Morgan's last sessions. That's great advertising, huh? I'm such a sucker for a little sticky, little post-it. Post-it with Lee Morgan. I'm like, sounds good. I don't know. It was only about $10. Charles Erland Intensity. Haven't had a chance to listen to it. 1972 on Prestige. I think this one. Yeah, these ones do have Van Gelder and the Dead Wax. Again, well, who's in this? Let's have a look. Who's in the band? Pretty great band. So Charles Erland on organ, of course. Maybe not everyone's cup of tea, but his early 1970s stuff is pretty awesome, funky, if you ask me. Lee Morgan on trumpet. It says soloist because there's another trumpet. Virgil Jones, Billy Harper on tenor sax. William Thorpe, baritone sax. Hubert Laws, who recorded a lot with CTI. Who else we got here? Billy Cobham on drums. So yeah, okay, maybe I'll keep that. Should I keep that? Nah. There we go. Charles Erland Intensity. He looks pretty intense there, doesn't he? Very intense. So yeah, $10. An intense $10 Prestige Charles Erland. Lee Morgan's last recording, and that was from Hello Records. This is also from Hello Records. Sorry, everyone. God, the camera is so crappy today. What is going on? Maybe is it my glasses? There it is. It's better now. I'm not sure what's going on. Ed Thigpen with Kenny Burrell, Clark Terry, Herbie Hancock, Ron Carter. This is an original Deep Groove Verve. Let's pull it out, have a look. From, I believe it's 1965. Van Geller and the Dead Wax, Black Labels. There we go. This one is just, yeah, I don't think it's been played either. Let's just double check the date on that. I think that's, I'm going to say it was 65. I had to listen to it. It's fun. I've never seen this one before. I don't know if anyone has a copy of this. Drop me a note. You have a copy of this, but it's there's some kind of Latin jazz in it to start. Some bluesy jazz, a couple standards. Not an expensive album. I'm thinking it's probably going for around $20 or something. But yeah, it's a unique band. I don't know if they've done anything else together. If anyone knows, let me know. But it sounds terrific, right? It's an original press, Deep Groove on Verve. Again, I think I paid $15 or $20 for it. Super happy. Very, very, very fun. All right. So that was Hello Records. Yeah, way out there in the kind of south. Let's move back south, kind of east part of Detroit. And again, I'm going to say this is probably definitely my top 5 record stores that I went to. There we go. There's Hello Records. So close to the border, yet so far. All right. So this is Sunday afternoon. I'm running out of time, but I was told that Dearborn Music, can everyone see that? There you go. There's, hey, Jeffrey, if you want to come up, let me know. I think I dropped a link there. So yeah, I think Jeffrey told me to check out Dearborn Music because on Sunday, they have a bunch of new stuff. But of course, I got there around, I don't know, 4 o'clock or something like that. So it was quite late. And they've got their regular stuff. There wasn't much sound effect time, apparently. There wasn't all that much that I was super interested in. But you could see what you missed. You could see, they put up tables, and they have boxes in there, with kind of the new stuff that they dropped, kind of whenever they opened at probably 11 or noon on Sunday. And they had all been picked through, and there was only kind of scratched up versions of Kiss or something left. Sorry, I hope I didn't offend anyone there. Anyway, big store, lots of, it's like what I like to call, a lifestyle store, a lot of t-shirts and stuff like that. Again, I think I was slightly warned by folks that it's not super interesting, but it was on my way back to my hotel. What can I say? So so I stopped. Wouldn't recommend it, but just running through where I went. So anyway, so that was my Sunday. Okay. That was my Sunday, and then on to what? I don't know, grab a couple beers, get some sleep. And then the next day I went up north here to this neighborhood called Royal Oak. Let's go check it out. All right. So you can I've got a system. Does anyone else have a system? I know Dagon was talking about like maps. I have to have a system for Google Maps about what I want to go see, and then kind of what was worth going back. So I showed up there at 11 o'clock, Solo Records. There's like 5 people outside looking to get in on a Monday morning, at 11. I'm like, okay, that's kind of intense, but who am I going to judge? I'm one of the 5 people here. But the owner was late, so I'm like, okay, I'll come back, and I'll definitely come back because there's all these people waiting. So I come down right into the center of this. I think it's a city within a city. I think it's outside of the Detroit city limits, to UHF. UHF Records, and I'm going to say next to People's. It was my best next stop, and they had tons of stuff in here. They had how many bins? How many bins did they have here? And they had I don't know, 6 bins of jazz and soul. They had a lot of soul jazz, which is a big thing in Detroit, I've been told. And also, what else? They had a new arrivals bin in the front, maybe about not too much, maybe about 30 discs up front, and then they had some good stuff on the wall as well. So so I was there for a good hour. Let's have a look inside. And again, they had a lot of 60s stuff. They had a lot of OGs there, a lot of original Prestige, Impulse, and again, more kind of Liberty reissues for Blue Note. The quality here, the prices were pretty decent, ranging from kind of $15 to kind of $75 for the original Prestige things. But you really had to. I noticed you really had to look at the quality of the vinyl. Again, I probably should have gone back here. I also found an original copy of Pharoah Sanders' Black Unity, and I think they were asking. One second here. Hey Jeffrey, have you got the link? I think the link's up there. Tell me if you. Tell me if the link doesn't work for you, but that should work. Anyway, let me know if that link doesn't work for you, and I'll figure out a way of getting you the link as well. Hang on one second. Anyway, so they had a copy of Black Unity. Here we go. Here's Jeffrey. All right. Let me zip over here and say hi. How's it going?
Hey, how you doing? You have a good time?
Yeah, I had a good time. It's the motor. I guess there's a reason why they call it the Motor City, huh?
Yeah, you got to drive everywhere.
You definitely need to drive everywhere. But also there's I was telling my partner, there's just gas stations everywhere. I've never seen a city that has so many gas stations, you know, because I was running out of gas across the border, and I'm just a little nervous because I don't know where I'm going. Is my cell phone going to work? And then I'm running out of gas, and they're like, I don't need to worry about that. This is a motor city. Um, so yeah. So anyway, no. So I zoomed around. People's. I went straight there. So I got there Sunday at 1 o'clock, 1:30, and there was still some decent stuff. I'm going to say in the inboxes there. And you're right. There's a lot of stuff there between $10 and $20.
Yeah. They put stuff out every day too.
They do, and right when I was leaving, it's awful. I don't know if you've had this experience going somewhere and you go through all the stuff, and you kind of, there's someone comes in, obviously knows the owner, and they start chatting, and the owner turns to the fellow and says, "Oh yeah, we have such good stuff coming in the next couple months." And I'm
They
just
did
like,
that to me.
so
I
yeah,
went
so
there.
that was I think I did go back. I think that was on Monday. I heard that, and I'm going straight to Canada then. I'm like, oh man. So I was gonna
That
send you a
shop's
note.
yeah, that shop's old school all around. Even the
Yeah.
guys working there sometimes,
Yeah. Overheard at People's. Lots of good stuff coming up in the next in the next 2 months.
Sorry about that.
Everything okay there? Crash bang?
Yeah, oh yeah, something fell off my desk.
Yeah.
I was moving stuff around. Yeah, People's is great. It's a great shop. And I think you caught a bunch of stuff that when I went in there for that jazz collection that they put out. So they bought like over 2,000 piece collection, and the collector started collecting in the early 70s and then stopped in the early 80s, and then the stuff's been in storage.
Yeah.
And so I saw you grabbed a bunch of 70s Blue Note reissues. That stuff wasn't in there when I was in there, but it's not to say I didn't grab a bunch of stuff because it was lit.
Yeah, I think it was up front that stuff there.
Yeah,
they had a bunch of French stuff too.
Yeah,
French Blue Note, I mean, like 80s.
Yeah, I got an Anthony Braxton French only release, which I'd never seen before, so I grabbed it. I'm not the biggest free jazz guy, but I had to grab it. I'd never seen it
for the prices. Yeah,
it was like $18 or something.
Yeah. So no, I was pretty impressed. Yeah, I walked out of that. I think I spent $250. It was like right after I crossed the border.
Yeah. That's a normal time for me because I live I live 90 miles from People's.
Yep.
So for me, I had to make a special trip to go downtown.
Yeah.
It's easier for me to get to the west side of Metro Detroit because that's like 45 minutes.
That's your side of the universe there, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Lansing, so I'm right in the middle of the state.
Oh, you're Lansing. Okay, I thought you were Ann Arbor. You used to be Ann Arbor, right?
That's where I grew up in Ann Arbor. Yeah.
Okay. But it's easy to park around there, so it's easy to negotiate. Who knows? So, and I think Sunday you didn't have to pay, so boom, I'm right in there. But so yeah, so did you see the stuff that I picked up then? Were you on the stream earlier watching, or?
I just popped in. I just got home.
I want to show it again.
And I didn't see what you got for People's, but I noticed you went to Hello Records, which is my second favorite shop in Metro Detroit. I love that place.
Yeah, they did have some stuff
it's a little more pricey, but
a little bit more pricey. The quality was good there, though. I'm going to say the quality was very good. Everything I looked at, if I wanted it, and I was okay with the price, which I was, every time I looked at it, I'm like, boom, yeah, this looks really great, so for sure. Yeah, I would definitely go back there. They had there were a couple things I left behind. the regrets, right?
Always
left behind. I'm like, I've been looking. Why didn't I get that? But again, it was that was my first day, so I was trying to pace myself. And plus, it's a little hard to loop back around there, right? When you're doing Detroit.
It's downriver.
It's down there. Yeah.
Yeah, we call that downriver, South Detroit, because it's down the Detroit River.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just gonna did you have stuff to show,
Oh, I
or
can
maybe
grab the
we'll
stuff I got at people. Sure.
well why don't I talk about a couple more like these ones up in Royal Oak, and you can chime in, and then if you want to show some stuff. But let
Okay.
me, if that's groovy.
Oh yeah, I'm very interested in what you did.
Because I was talking to Paul as well the other day, and he said he hadn't really checked out UHF, and I don't think you and I talked about this before, did we?
I typically don't go up into Oakland County record shopping because it's the pricey area of Metro Detroit.
Ah,
I
agreed.
like I like to be in the city
Yeah.
myself.
Okay, that kind of makes sense. But I was just saying, I went to I think I'm not sure if it was you or
There's a
Paul,
lot of records up there.
but when I went, there wasn't much. The prices were really good up there.
Oh, that's great.
But honestly, I walked in and did this, and then kind of walked out. There wasn't really much at all up there, so I don't know if everyone had kind of picked through it. But then I went down to UHF, and no, really, I would really recommend this place. I don't know if they just got a bunch of stuff in, but they had quite a selection. They don't really have very good pictures here, and I didn't take any pictures inside.
Nope.
But they had a great selection of stuff. They must have had someone who had a prestige collection, like a 60s
Mm,
prestige stuff. Now I
nice.
know there's a lot of kind of Gene Ammons and prestige stuff, and I think
I love that stuff.
someone was just talking about that. Was it last night or earlier this week? On one of the streams, people were talking about how it's easy to find those. But there was a lot of other OG and deep groove prestige there, so I found that
What
really
was
interesting
that?
stuff
I
that
have
stuff you don't
what
find
was
around
that?
here for sure, but
What
was
were the
everywhere.
prices?
Very the prices for those, I'm gonna
$80.
say no. These are not expensive LPs, right? These are kind of $15 to $20 LPs,
Oh, okay.
and I'm gonna say that maybe the prices were like 20, 25.
Oh, that's great.
But they were all in really really great shape and originals, right? So um, again, I probably should have gone back there.
Well,
Which
like
one
this
is
right here. I
which
got
one is
this
that?
at I got this at the record
Yeah,
graveyard when I
sorry.
went down to People's. It was $10.
The graveyard. I'm not very good at how do I move you over? Make you
Oh no, I don't want to do
no?
your flow, but we were just talking about Gene Hammond's Blue Label, and I
Yeah,
find a lot
there's
of
a lot.
these in Detroit. They're just usually beat up because they're
Yeah.
party records. But this one
Yeah.
was exceptionally clean, so I bought it. And these are amazing if you actually look at who's on these
Yep.
prestige jam
Jackie
sessions.
McLean, Mel Farmer,
Yeah,
Kenny Burrell. Wow, look,
Kenny
that is
Burrell
incredible.
smokes
Yeah.
in this record.
All the All Stars is the one that I found. Is that an All Stars too? Let me see. I've already put it away. I don't know if I can find it again.
So,
Can't remember if it was the All Stars. Let's have a look.
so
Yeah, All Star
yeah, yeah,
Sessions. Yeah,
that's a great record. Is that an OJC?
that's an OJC. Yeah, that was from People's. $14.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's a great
so
record. That thing goes for a lot more online.
it
I
really.
see
I
that
think that
go
was
for like
actually
$30.
in terms of deals. Yeah, I think this is like a 40
Mhm.
dollar plus, and it's pristine. You can see like the paper hasn't separated.
It's great when
And
people
I
says,
don't. I think it was mint. Really,
yeah,
it was quite
people's
mint.
like, oh, it's an OJC, blah. Let's blast them out. That's their
Sound.
attitude. I mean, it's
I know.
great. It, you
They sound really good. Yeah. So
know,
yeah. So I
absolutely.
think it's not the same band. That one that you have is a bit.
Well, you
Yeah.
know the
This one's
Stone
got
Ages, right?
Lou Donaldson and Addison Farmer on bass, Kenny Clark, Art
Yeah.
Farmer on trumpet. So it's not quite as well. It says Gene Ammons battles Sonny Stitt.
Yeah, one
Um,
side's a Sonny Stitt 10-inch, and the one side's a Gene Ammons.
got it. Okay. Yeah, I was
And
super
so
happy.
Weinstock would basically these guys would show up at the prestige offices and he would just gather them all up and then drive down to Rudy's studio, and there was no rehearsal, and that's why they're called All Star, or the term Prestige Jam Session. And they would just get in a room and start riffing. Some of them are just pure magic, when you think about what they're doing. I mean,
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
just sit down, warm up a little bit, and then the tape starts rolling.
So I at UHF Records, I did pick up, had in my hands I was just talking about this when you came up, the Black Unity, an OG of Black Unity. And it
Ooh.
was, so in terms of prices, it was that's like a $90 album now, right?
Mhm.
Some people say it's not their favorite. I love that album. I'm not sure if you're a Pharoah Sanders guy,
More
but
that one, yeah, the more accessible stuff.
yeah,
Absolutely. I like
yeah,
Thin that kind of stuff.
yeah, yeah. I think Black Unity is a little bit in the middle of his
Mhm.
really chanty, kind of free jazz stuff, and then the Thimby, which is a bit almost kind of African influenced, percussive jazz, spiritual stuff. But yeah, it was $40, but
Oh,
it
good
but it
good
but it
deal.
had one of those kind of, someone's dropped a little special sauce off their burger on it, so it
On the
wasn't a
cover?
scratch, and
Oh,
no,
no.
on the wax, and I was like, I don't know.
Does it tick?
I didn't buy it. I left it
Oh, you didn't
behind.
buy it. I don't blame
Or
you. I mean, it's probably why it was $40. It probably made noise.
exactly. It was on the, they had a little sticky, a little post-it that said clean side one, side two, has a little bit of a
Still thinking
sticky
about it
thing.
though,
So
aren't you, OJ?
I'm totally thinking about it. These are all oh my God, the left behinds. Like,
You're
what
like,
what
"Oh,
was
it
I
looks so cool,
thinking?
that cool impulse
That
spine sitting there."
Yusef Lateef, that was $40, and oh shit, I've got like this mental block with, I don't know about you, with certain, and of course really great artists like Yusef Lateef, who's of course from Detroit, right? And
Yes.
I don't know, I just have a mental block with my collection of what I have from him. So every time I see one of his albums, I'm like, oh my God, he's one of my favorite. But I just don't trust my Discog. I just don't trust myself, right? And I don't.
Yeah,
It's a really weird thing. I don't have it with anyone else. It's not. I don't have
yeah.
hangups about stuff. Well, not about, anyway.
One of
But
my
Yusuf Lateef is like, I think I might
yeah,
have
one of
this.
one of my first times going to People's Jazz Club, because I don't know if I've told you, I'm about only 2.5 years into my jazz journey.
Okay, all right.
Really, once it hooks you,
Going down the rabbit hole.
you
Yeah,
just go. And
yeah,
I've always been a record collector. I've always had jazz, but nothing like what I'm doing now. So one of the
yeah.
first times I ever went down to Detroit to just buy jazz records, People's had Eastern Sounds, Blue
Hmm.
Trident for like $15. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And I just bought it, not really
What
knowing what it was.
what does that go for these days?
I don't know. I have no idea. Probably
Yeah.
60 to 100. Because it's not a
Mm,
Moodsville. It's a Moodsville release. It's a reissue. And that's
okay.
what's great about those old school shops like People's, is they treat reissues as they are. They're reissues.
Yeah.
If it's a 60s, they don't really care if it's between they a little bit more for a 60s reissue versus a 70 versus an 80s and up.
I'm just trying to pull it up here.
It's stashed in.
Eastern.
I'd show it, but I have no idea where it is.
Oh yeah, I don't. Eastern Sounds, huh?
Yeah. Yep. Blue Trident, just like we were talking about, like what
Is it
you
a
found.
mono or a stereo? Do you remember?
I think it's a mono. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'd have to find it. I don't know where I have it.
Moodsville. What are they going for? There's one copy going for 159. Mine's set to Canadian dollars here, of course, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it is, OJ.
But
I'll show it. I'll show it some other time. Maybe we can do something on Blue Tridents or Prestige or something.
yeah, that'd be a fun thing to do, huh? Some tridents. Yeah, I've got the OJC copy of this, and it's awesome.
Oh, it's
It's
great.
really
I
awesome.
bought the new OJC, the Kevin Gray cut. That is
Yeah. What's your take?
lights out. Lights
Is it?
out good.
I've heard that too. I've heard that.
But it sounds different than what the Van Gelder cut is. And
Yeah.
that's the big debate, right? With the audio files.
Mm, mm.
So I'll probably keep both copies.
Yeah, I know. I've had to kind of Yeah, should I pick up a copy of that? It's one of my favorite albums too. But yeah, so one of those got left behind. The Black Unity got left behind.
There's
What
always
else?
next time. But
Let's go back.
uh,
Let's go back to the map. Sorry, go ahead.
my
Begin.
motto in record collecting is I always ask myself, will I see it ever again? And that it's tough, you know, and that's like my lack of self-control, which you obviously don't share that.
You know who my my oh my god, I've never seen this before. I'm never gonna see it again. And this is $15 too much, but I'm gonna buy it. And they're always Donald Byrd, his funk
Mhm.
years, and those are
Yeah,
great LPs. I love all those. Talking about
yeah.
like going down the rabbit holes. For me, those are all must-haves. But there's something just like you said, Latif is I can't remember what I've got of his. For Donald Byrd, it's always exactly what you just said, which is
I see it.
I see it. I'm like, I've
Oh,
never seen this before. I'm gonna pay $50 for it. Like, oh, why am I doing this? And then I'll go somewhere else that afternoon and I'll see it there for like $20.
right,
Street lady, right? Street lady in better condition for $30 less. It's kind of what the fuck.
right.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny when that happens, right? You never ever see something and then they're everywhere. I don't know. Um, I love this. Hey everyone, this is a fun stream. Are you actually like calling people up? Like, hey man.
There's a couple of guys talking about records. Come on.
Yeah, it's like picking up the phone. This is fun stream on right now. You should be watching. Let's anyway. Thanks, Dagan. That's cool. I appreciate that. So this place, I don't know if we talked about it. The Detroit Record Club.
I've never been there. I never heard of it. I think did Paul tell you about that,
I don't think
or did you
I don't think
just
he
start?
did. I think I was just heading up here to Solo Records again, Royal Oak, whatever this neighborhood is. You're right. There's more money up in that neighborhood. And well, you can kind of get a vibe for a place from one of the main. It's very well curated. Well, you can see. You can just see from the window outside, and there's this. You walk in the front door. I've got if people want to check out the entrance, it's actually pretty fun just to go there to check it out. People who like the kind of aesthetics of record stores. But there's a short that's on my channel, and I just went in there to show the entranceway. It's really kind of cool and kind of looks like that. You walk in, but anyway, it's highly curated, and they've got two bins. Let me see if I can find
You got a nice
at the back of the stuff, the shit. But I think that fellow there who was working was a very, very friendly guy. And I think I must have gone in and been like, yeah, kind of collectible jazz, point me the way. And he put me in the corner. It's like, those are $50 and up. Again, some of them, there's a premium there. There's a premium there. A lot of stuff that I had already, the quality hit and miss, but there's all that to say, you should go though. It's definitely worth going there. There's stuff to be had. There's stuff that's hard to find. It's just, as you said, it's not people's, right? It's the pricing. I'm sure, I don't know if you took cash and would talk to them about it, but I went through tons of stuff there. I was probably there for 2 hours, but
cash.
Yeah, it didn't. Detroit is a cash town, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't end up buying it. No, that's not true. I bought a T-shirt. That's good, right? In a Detroit record shop. So
I don't mind paying up for a record if it's something I want and it's really clean. I mean, hey, there is something to say about a well-curated shop. You're not flipping through a million.
Yeah,
you're not flipping through a million whatever records, right?
Yeah, yeah. If it's clean. Anyway, they did have some OG New York address Blue Notes there. Horace Silver, the live one, and then what's the other one? I can't remember off the top of my head. They had like multiple copies of
That's
New
cool.
York Blue Note. Again, for like there were a couple there for around $20-$25. These are of course the ones that are kind of, again,
Gonna
you
be
see around a lot. But probably if I would have gone back the next day, I probably would have dropped $25 on the counter. But it was one of those, I was saying earlier, I don't know if you heard, it's kind of scratched up, but some of the scratched up stuff you take home, it's not that bad. Or maybe it's just like click, click, click on one track. I'm all right with that. I don't even mind a little bit of surface noise. You get that kind of aesthetics of an old record. I don't
yeah,
mind that so much, as long as it doesn't detract too much. But it was hard to judge, and they didn't. If they had a turntable in there to listen to, I probably would have. I probably would have been there all morning listening to stuff, and I probably would have left.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check it out.
So yeah, in terms of jazz collection, I would certainly recommend it. And I don't know, maybe you can ask the guy to put stuff on,
Yeah,
to
it's
see.
kind of sort of on my way out of the city. Depends on how I go in.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I would totally recommend the Detroit Record Club, just to see. Like, we've got a place here in town called, actually, do I want to call them out? I'm not going to call them out. There's a place here in town, and I think the way I describe it is that it's kind of like a museum, because you go in there and they have everything, but the prices are like, twice what you want to pay. So it's not that bad at the Detroit Record Shop. But so anyway,
Or
but
this-
yeah, I would recommend it. And then if you're heading up there, I would definitely check in the UHF.
I've been to
'Cause,
UHF before.
yeah, so yeah, so there was that. But hey, well, let's take a pause, and maybe you want to pull up some of your people's
Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna
people's
mute
stuff.
it, and then
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay, muted. And while Jeffrey is looking for his stuff, what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna invite a couple people here. Head over to the Discord, see if the people are around. All right. Whoop. Showing everyone my what I'm checking out. Let's have a look here. Anyway, Detroit, great place for record shopping. All over the city. I probably went to maybe half the places I wanted to go to over 2 days.
I'm gonna dig in another crate in the other room, so I'll be right back.
In another crate. Wow. Here, well, while Jeffrey's grabbing his crate, why don't I show my UHF? Let me put that back on me. Hang on one second. There we go. This is not a difficult album to find, but got this from UHF in Detroit. That's a blue, a dark blue B. So I'm gonna say that's I'm gonna say that's a 1973 pressing. That was under $20. Got a little snip there. It's a compilation, right? It's a memorial album. I don't know how many issues there were. I gave that one a clean, and it's in really, really great shape. So that was an easy purchase, I'm gonna say. Again, that's UHF. You should, when this goes up, what I'll do is I'll make sure to put some links to all of the record stores that that Jeffrey and I are talking about today, and maybe their Instagram accounts as well. I'm not sure if people follow things on Instagram, but I tend to that's the way I kind of judge record stores, is through their Instagram account and see what kind of things that they're showing when they come in. Okay, do you want to? So this is this recent stuff?
Yeah. So after we spoke on the stream, kind of we're prepping for your trip.
Yeah.
I was just happened to be. It's funny you bring up Instagram. People's don't really use Instagram, but for whatever reason, one of their employees decided to post on Instagram that, hey, we just bought this big jazz collection and we're going to start putting it out. Well, I had Wednesday, June 19th off. So it's a memorial, it's a national holiday in the States. And so I was like, okay, I have it off. I just drove down there, and much to the chagrin of my wife, because this is only 3 weeks after I just got back from LA and San Francisco, which is anyhow, but I couldn't help myself, and I'm thinking about going tomorrow, but so I got a big stack. This is all from People's, but I didn't spend that much money, and I'll show you what it's all about sometimes. So like this one right here. So this is a promo copy of Enlightenment. Super, super clean. And I've been looking for this. I mean, it's unplayed. This whole collection's like this, OJ. I don't know. Yeah. I think you got pieces of it with your Horace Silver, but it's all like this. And so this was one that I've been looking for, and you never find it. It's always kind of beat up,
Yeah. That's not it's a gatefold, but it's just one LP in that one. I do have that one as well.
Yeah, there's two. It's a double.
Is there? Okay. I thought there was. Is it a compilation, that one?
No, it's a live performance at Montrose Jazz Festival.
All right. I knew it wasn't one of his studio.
Is it Montrose or is it the one in Switzerland? Yeah, that's Montrose, right?
Yeah.
Yep, Montrose in Switzerland. Yeah.
Nice.
The only problem with this collection is they didn't sleeve anything. You notice that? The sleeves are all kind of beat up. And then I got this. I had never seen this before. It's an OJC. It's like OJC 257. It's Riverside, and it was really, really cheap. Just really good, clean OJC. I mean, perfect corners.
Who's in that one?
So this is James Clay and David Fathead Newman. And so Cannonball did this series called Cannonball Adderley Presents, and I don't think it's maybe a dozen records.
Never seen any of those. Yeah.
Yeah. So right there, that's David Fathead Newman. He was Ray Charles sax player.
Cool.
Yeah. And then I got this.
Yeah.
Just
there are a lot of beat up copies of that one around, I'm gonna say.
This is a Japanese.
Okay, nice.
And then I bought a bunch of Pablos because they're like $5 a piece.
So and you're right, they're everywhere in Detroit. They're everywhere here in Toronto as well. Yeah. Yeah.
All three of these.
Yeah.
And you see what people are paying for online for these. It's crazy.
Because I saw them, I often saw them under $10 everywhere in Detroit. That's a great one. Yeah,
just brand new records.
Yeah, wow.
Like this one, it's got the insert and everything. This is going for big money.
I picked up that one, and they were asking a bit too much for it, so I left. That was another.
This was $5.
Yeah, beautiful.
And then I just basically bought all these Ellingtons. I was like, whatever, I'll buy them.
Were they all in the new bin, or
no? They had them in
the stacks. Yeah.
Yeah, they were in the jazz section.
Wow.
They had a whole run of clean Ellington. I just couldn't buy it all. I mean, because again, they had a lot of Columbia 70s represses. I did pick up one that I'll show in a bit. This right here, these next two are the ones that I paid for because these are not cheap, but still a good deal.
Booker. Yeah.
You know, green label.
Nice.
Don't have to worry about recycled vinyl when you see that.
Is that a Van Gelder recording?
No. Let's see. No, they're not. Sounds really good. Then they had this one. Did you see a lot of this green label Prestige when you were in there?
Yes.
70s.
Yeah. No, I picked up, I'm going to say 2 or 3 Prestige green label, but they had stamps in. They all had stamps, right?
Yeah.
You find that a lot of them around Toronto, but they're very, very rarely are they stamped copies.
So these were the expensive buys. So these were $50 a piece. But I got a little bit.
Was that behind the desk?
No, they were the bins right in front of the desk. So what I do is I walk in, I go left, see the new release bins, and then I head right up front and I see the good stuff, and then I go and dig in the back.
Yeah.
So here's the Anthony Braxton I was talking about. I had never seen this before.
What's the label?
America? It's French.
Of course it is.
And why it's called America Records, I don't know.
I love it.
Where
are they at? America Records. Let me see.
Yeah, it's French. Here's the back of it. I was called Donna Lee, Anthony Black.
What year is that?
Early 70s.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it, doesn't it?
I didn't really look it up. I've spun it once. It's interesting. It's not as free as a lot of his stuff, but I kind of like it. I don't know if I'll hold on to that one. And then I found a bunch of Xanadu. So this guy here, he's a Detroit guy. So I had to buy this, you know. And then just clean.
Yeah.
70s jazz.
Yeah. Nice.
Another steeplechase.
Oh, I've never seen that one.
Yeah, this is the first record after he took an extended break after he left Blue Note. And look at the players on it.
Yeah, I picked up a Thigpen as well.
And then I got this. Again, this is Inner City.
Inner City. Yep.
Here's another really good Xanadu. Charles McPherson, who's a Detroit guy, Detroit player. This is really good. These Xanadus are bop records. They're hard bop records.
Yeah. I don't think I have any of those in my collection.
And then I bought this because it was $10. And I didn't have a copy of this record. It's that 70s Columbia. Yeah. Sounds great. And it's like, I mean, look at that. It's not even been played. There's not a mark on it.
Shiny. Yeah.
And they had all of these. I mean, you have a little bit of self-control, but they had the whole run of Columbia Monk in there. And then finally I got this.
Live, obviously, right?
Yeah. I had a Jimmy Heat. I don't know what I did with it. I was playing it. I put it in the main stack. I got this too. Whole run of Muse.
Was that just reissued, that one?
I don't know.
Richard Davis, Billy Hart.
I don't think anyone's reissuing Muse.
No. Okay.
I was sealed.
Lovely.
I got more.
Well, let's jump back to the map maybe for a bit, and because I want to get your take on record Graveyard. So this is, how do you pronounce that? Hamtramck?
Hamtramck. Yeah, this stack here is
Hamtramck.
From Graveyard. So
Hamtramck. Interesting neighborhood, huh? It's like a Yemeni neighborhood.
Yeah, it was originally Polish neighborhood.
Polish, yeah.
And it was 100% Polish back in the day.
Okay.
And when when all the troubles in Detroit, it's pretty well documented. All the jobs went away because the auto factories, they closed them. They didn't need as many people, yada yada.
Yeah.
And then they opened the city up for immigration, and so there's a lot of people from Yemen, a lot of people from Bangladesh.
Bangladesh too in that neighborhood. Yeah.
Taken on a Islamic flavor. There's large Islamic communities throughout Metro Detroit, especially in Dearborn.
I was reading someone was it Paul just posted a note about on Instagram somewhere else maybe about some Yemeni pizza place in Detroit that was voted one of the best pizza places in the United States.
Sounds wild.
or Bangladeshi. Did I say Yemeni or Bangladeshi? Bangladeshi pizza. I'm like, okay. I'm assuming there's some spices in it, but that's all. I don't know all that much about.
So Dearborn was, Lebanese, and then
yes,
big wave of Chaldean community came over during the 80s.
You can see also over in Dearborn. I'm not sure if this geography relates to Ford, right? Because the Ford headquarters seems to like split Dearborn into two. In the south end of Dearborn, near what's the place where you told me to go? Dearborn.
Dearborn Records.
Making everyone sick. Dearborn here. So this area, kind of south of Ford's headquarters, right here, is there's money over there, right? Lots of money, and then you go to the north side. So I'm wondering if that's just how the workforce of Ford kind of got parsed out in that part of the city,
and then if you go south of the highway, that's Allen Park.
Yeah,
and so Ford basically, that's Dearborn. They built, they drained the Rouge River because it used to all be swampland, I guess.
Oh, this one here, okay,
yeah.
It's so interesting. Also, it's so weird when I came back to Toronto. Toronto is just such a vertical city, right? Everything's just going boom, straight up. Detroit Detroit's a big city, and of course we know the history of Detroit over the last 50, 70 years, but it still remains quite a flat city, right? And you'd be driving along and there'll be parks and it's not so much I guess before in the 70s and 80s where you would see lots of things boarded up. Now I think a lot of those buildings have been kind of knocked down, right? So but you'll be in the city limits, but you don't feel like you're in the city. You feel like you're a little bit out in the exurbs or something.
Well, the story goes that Henry Ford was telling people like down south, and if you come to Michigan, I promise you, if you work for me, you'll have a house with a yard.
Really?
If
you
leave the East Coast, where everyone was living vertical, you're going to get that's what the story is that's how he recruited employees.
That makes sense.
And you see the neighborhoods like in Dearborn Heights and then in west side of Detroit, and they're little cookie cutter houses. But everyone has a yard, a front and a backyard.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I definitely saw that as well. But I want to jump back over to the Hamtramck. Is that how you said that? Did I get that right? Hamtramck. Sorry. Hamtramck. I lost it. Damn.
You were almost there. It's just north of.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Sorry. It's kind of what's going on. Record Graveyard dropped in there. The fellow who is like an older guy who runs it, just him in there.
Yep, just him.
Let's see if we can. And it's kind of you can kind of see from the facade. It's like a house, isn't it? I don't know if do you think the guy lives in there?
I think so. I don't know. He's not the most chatty guy.
No, it was. I definitely kind of got the feeling he was kind of watching me as I was going around. Plus, I had my my vinyl collecting bag, which sometimes is kind of uncool to walk around. But they've got a pretty big selection of jazz. There was lots of Pablos there for sure. A lot of Pablos, some that I already had. Had an interesting collection of Coltrane stuff there. And a lot of live stuff. A lot of kind of not studio album kind of collection of jazz. What did it remind me? It reminded me of the Jazz Record Center in Manhattan, where you go in there and there's tons of stuff that you've never seen before, but they're all quite interesting. And then it just becomes a question of Is this going to sound any good, right? Is this a good recording?
Yeah.
And again, like we were saying before, a lot of stuff that I haven't seen, but the prices there, I did kind of check some of the Discog prices, and I found them to be a little bit high there. And I think Paul was telling me that, yeah, he's not a negotiator.
No,
But
he's not.
he's not.
And I don't bother to give him cash. I just run cards in there.
Yeah. So so what kind of things have you found here then? This is again what's called Record Graveyard.
Record Graveyard. I've been going in there for probably the last year and a half because he gets a lot of Muse.
Yeah.
And he also gets a lot of OJCs.
Okay, I didn't notice that.
And so, you know, if you're into collecting that kind of stuff, it's a good spot. It's interesting because like he'll put like premium on the big artists, right? You'll pay more if you have an OJC of Miles Davis, you're going to pay Discogs for it. But if you have an OJC of Cannonball Adderley, he'll give it to you for $10.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just every time I go in there, I see new stuff, and that's kind of what I like. But you do tend to see the same records because, you know, I mean, he's as good as the next collection. But I'll show you what I pulled out of there when we're ready. You can kind of see what I'm kind of collecting out of that shop.
Yeah. Do you want to do that? Because after this, let me just quickly.
Did you get anything there, or did you?
No, I didn't. No, didn't find much.
Because I left behind a Woody Shaw that I still regret leaving behind there because the cover was just trashed.
That sounds familiar.
I wanted like $45 for it, and I was just like, eh. And then I started looking at what people are paying for it on Discogs and eBay in that condition, and I'm just like, oh, I probably should have bought it. But thing is in Detroit, I mean, I know I can just wait, and I'm not gonna pay $80 for it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You know, I don't, you know, I mean, I feel bad for the people who don't have access to this kind of record digging.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah. What do you got then?
Okay,
let's go back to your
I'll show a cool one that I found in there. So this is a really cool record. This is Eddie Fisher Quintet, the third cup on Cadet. And it is in really good shape. This is a reissue, I believe. I believe it was originally released on Cadet, but you can tell they're reissues because of this label. But it's super clean. And this was just recently, UMG just put this out on Verb by Request.
Sorry, I was getting ready to run over one of my albums there.
So I grabbed it up. I was like, well, if they reissued it, and this thing was less than what the reissue goes for. So I was like, oh, I'll grab it. And then, like I said, Muse. So good, clean Muse. A lot of
Cedar Walton.
This was sealed.
Nice. So these are all Record Graveyard finds?
These are all Record Graveyard. Yeah. I just happen to have a chunk of them in the crate. I have like new release crates. Houston Pearson, a lot of these, you know, Muse was founded by guys who worked at Prestige, so they brought artists over. And so this is just like a Prestige date. Soul Jazz. This is a cool record. This was sealed too. This guy only has like 1 or 2 records. It's a guitar album.
What year?
If you see this, OJ, you should grab it because it's cheap heat.
What's the name again? I'm gonna look for that.
It's let me see if I can get the camera right. Link Chamberlain, A Place Within. It's very stripped down guitar jazz. Very unique stuff.
Free improv is how they're calling it here. 1977.
Yeah. Do you know who Chris Brown is on his channel, WCB?
Yes.
He did a big Muse video 6 months ago or something where he broke down the Muse label out of his collection. That guy has an amazing collection. That was one of them that he recommended. I happened to watch the video recently, so when I was in there, I'm like, why does this sound familiar? And then I was like, oh, that's right. And then I got this. I love Sam Jones,
Hmm.
Riverside guy. You know,
Great
look at
band.
yeah, look at that band.
Billy
Blue Nation.
Higgins. Yeah. Lovely,
Another
lovely.
muse.
Another, yeah.
And this, you always got to buy Lewis Hayes when you see him in Detroit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And look who's number
Woody,
2 on there.
Woody Shaw. Yeah.
And then
What?
Jackie's son.
Yeah.
You know,
What do those sound like then?
they're really good recordings.
They're all consistent. All those ones that you were just
Yeah,
showing,
this
right?
one's actually a
The
Van
same.
Gelder. I believe this is a
Oh.
Van Gelder.
Oh, okay.
They started going. I don't know if Rudy cut the lacquers, but I know he was a recording engineer on a lot of them.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of those up here for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, like I was telling you, Detroit, you see a lot of this East Coast stuff. And then I bought this because it was like $5 sealed.
Nice.
I'm kind of following the Wax's take on these and buying up every one that AP is repressing.
So, yeah, exactly.
Up, man, he's fun. It's fun how he collects, and so I'm copying him.
Are you
Rob.
are you going to sell any? Speaking of, Rob, are you going to flip any of them or sell any of them or?
Maybe not.
Yeah,
I don't enjoy. I don't get out like he does. I understand what he's doing because he also keeps a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't usually dig the flip. What I like to do is, because I'm always buying records, is once a year I pull like 100 to 200 and I sell them.
From your collection that you're just not grooving
Yeah.
on anymore, you haven't listened to.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I need to do
And
that.
you got this. This is a 60 or 62 repress. Super clean, super cheap.
You know what I was thinking about doing? I almost suggested this before I came down, is just to like bring a crate of those ones, of the ones I want to get rid of, and meet up with you guys, and we could just swap some stuff, right? I'd like to do that one day.
Most people buying will be in the States, and they're not going to buy from you because you're in Canada. Because
exactly,
never understand why the shipping is so high between our two countries. We literally, you can drive across any, we share a border that's basically free.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Is it our government or your government that is causing?
I'm not sure, but I had there's lots of strange anomalies, right? Like I remember I made some T-shirts for a crowdfunding campaign because I made a film. I needed to make some money to finish the film. Ran a campaign, made some T-shirts, and so I had to send out the T-shirts, as a thank you for the crowdfunding campaign. And they were some of the T-shirts were $60 to send to my donors in the U.S. So I sent it from Toronto to. I distinctly remember this being in the Canada Post and sending a T-shirt for $6 to San Diego, and then the same T-shirt to Vancouver was like $22, and I'm just kind of. What, and so there's different rules around sizes. If it's too big, then in Canada, but yeah, we're always I always talk about this. We're at a disadvantage here because anything on eBay from the States or Discogs, it's add at least $20, which for us is about $26. Like this is before we're even talking about how much the damn record's going to cost you, or is this $8 in the US?
No, it's $6.
Yeah, I shouldn't. Okay, we should change topics. Anyway.
Yeah, $6.
That's why I only bid for stuff in Japan, because it's $18 for you guys and it's $18 for us. So at least I feel like, okay, I'm on an even keel here with everyone else,
No sense at all why it's so expensive to ship between our two countries.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. But seriously, I was thinking, and maybe down the road that's something to do, is just to come over and meet somewhere at a cafe or whatever, and just put it down and go through and pull out what do you want, and then just. Because I think it's just easier way, nicer, friendlier way of kind of getting some new stuff. And Although probably I just need to get rid of some stuff too. I don't need to pick anything up.
We're all in this. We're all sick that way, you know.
Yeah. Hey, can we talk to? I'm gonna go soonish. Because I'm gonna go to Cortex tonight, and I got to do a few things. But yeah, I left that Pharaoh Sanders behind. Let me kind of make myself big here. And then I went down to Third Man, which I know there's a lot of trash talking about Third Man, and a couple people I mentioned it to. It's like, don't bother going, whatever. And it's there's a lot of bling down there, and t-shirts and merch and swag, whatever your word is for stuff to buy. But I kind of felt slightly guilt. Well, it was my last stop before I was coming home. I'd spent a lot of time going through and looking at stuff. Do you ever get that feeling? It's like, I should get something. I should get something. And I'd left behind that OG that had the schmaltz in it on the wax. So I picked this up. You know, it wasn't cheap. It was, $40.
Did you get the yellow? You got the yellow version by that cover, right?
Yeah. So I got the yellow version. It's in paper.
That's Jack's aesthetic. He does a lot of things in yellow.
The whole place is yellow, so it's collectible. Look, I put it on yesterday and or the day before, and I think it sounds great.
Yeah.
I was happy. I'm happy with it. Sometimes you buy stuff and it's just like, oh shit, what a colossal waste of money. But this sounded nice separation of the instruments in it, which is kind of what I like in the system that I have. Is it the best? No, the OG would have sounded better. I'm sure it does. But yeah, I just wanted to get something from there, so I figured.
You can't find the OGs. They're not just like they're everywhere.
Exactly. So
it's the audio files that poo-poo VBR. I mean, I've had hits and misses with the series myself, but
yeah,
Third Man, they did the Blue Note 313 series. Right?
Yeah, I got the Grant Green, and then the Bird. I got the Bird too from a used store, actually.
So I was down there at Third Man when they announced that series, and it just happened to be down in Midtown. And so I was in there looking at records, and we were just first time the wife and I had ever been in there. And I happened to say to the young lady at the counter, I said, "Hey, you got any of the 313? I missed the listening party." And she goes, "We got them in the crate here, but we did a special press of 313 of the Thad Jones for the listening party, and I had 3 left. So I got one of those.
Fun. So was that yellow as well, or the vinyl?
Nope, it's black. No, it's a splatter vinyl.
So is it?
I have it downstairs.
So is it a test pressing, or is it just like a promo?
It was just for the release party.
Yeah,
it was for the release party to be sold at the release party of the series. 313 of them.
What's your take on the quality, like the sound recording of that series and that?
It's a mixed bag. It's not that good. I got the Electric Bird too.
Yeah,
the Electric Bird is better, but the Thad Jones wasn't a Rudy tape. I don't think. I think that was before. But the thing of it is. Even the Blue Note, they're not doing it with Kevin Gray, and they're not doing it with the coherent lacquer cutting. They're not pressing them at RTI or Palace. So I mean, they're $30 reissues. The music needs to be released.
The thing it gets me is that Jesus, what the 5 copies here for $137? What is that all about?
That's the blue one.
It's a limited. That's a limited one, huh?
Yeah, Blue Note sold the limited run at their website. So that Detroit one, that Thad Jones is the one I got. The one if you scroll down.
This one here, yeah.
New York Junction.
I got the Grant Green one, and I thought it sounded. I was pretty happy with it. It's just I don't know what they're going for
down stack up
south,
next to Nigeria though.
No, it doesn't.
And Nigeria Tone Poet is amazing.
Yeah, that's a bad juxtaposition there, isn't it?
Right.
I'm going to take back everything I just said.
The best, I mean, We are living in the golden age of reissues. If you're not wanting to pony up the big money for Blue Note,
Yeah, big time.
and I leave a
Yeah.
lot of them behind because I'm like, I'll just wait for the Tone Poet.
Yeah, for sure. What did we not talk about for Detroit? I think I've gone through. Let me pull it up. I think I've gone through all of the stores I had the time to go check out.
Did you go to National or Lafayette?
Which one? Say again?
Did you go to National or Lafayette?
No, I didn't. I didn't go to either of those.
That's the Coney Wars, the Coney Dog Wars in Detroit.
The Wax said something to me about that too. Like,
yeah, I heard
something about
he
Coney Island.
Right. Yeah, he had it mostly right.
I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but
I honestly think it's because the people from the East Coast, when they came to work in the car factories, they brought over the Coney, the Coney dogs from Coney Island, and then in Detroit they started putting chili on top. I mean, that's where chili dogs originated, was Detroit.
Ah, okay. Now
that's a Coney dog. Coney dog is a chili
with
dog.
that kind of chili sauce.
Yes,
that has like little.
And there's two different styles. There's Detroit Conies and Flint Conies.
Complex.
Yeah, complex web.
Complex web of hot dogs. Man,
I'm glad you had a great time. I'm glad.
Yeah, no, I had a really great time. It was fun. Just 48 hours. Yeah, checked out the university a bit downtown. I don't know. We talked a little bit about there's a jazz festival in September, isn't it? Early September, I think. Mike Notes and Tones was talking about that a little bit. So I might have a look at that. But I guess for me, yeah, what's my next thing? I'm heading back overseas, so I'm doing my London thing. Do my do like an a West End walk around London for the record stores, which used to be like the place to go in London, but now everything's kind of moved over to the East End. So I'll do that, and then I'm in Paris for a while. So it's just family, like London, Paris. I go to London, Paris, like twice a year, sometimes even more, right? So yeah, I'll probably make a couple videos of that.
That's awesome.
But I think that's it for me. And then I need to decide whether or not I want to go to New York for the WFMU.
There's a VC get together. I think the jazz, Mike Tones and Notes and Tones lives in the city, and
that's right. Mike did mention. I did ask him, didn't I, if he was going to go? He sounded like he's going to be there, and Mazzy and probably others.
Yeah, there's quite a few people that live in New York that meet up for that show.
Yeah, are you going to go or?
No, I did
too far.
No, it's not that. It's we did a 2-week vacation in California this year, and that kind of took all our leisure money.
Yeah, like I said. Anyway, I'm on the fence. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
For me, it's record shows season in July. There's a couple of record shows in Michigan. That's what I'm gonna hit.
I just had
maybe go to Chicago. I go to Chicago quite a bit too.
Okay. I don't have too much reason to go to Chicago. I just noticed
not the best picking
on the Discord that who is it? Deep Groove Mono. He said he's coming to town. What's his name? Rich? I don't know his last name. Or doesn't matter what his last name is.
Knows his stuff.
But he has great videos. I've always liked his videos, and I watched a lot of his videos before I went to Japan. Big thumbs up to. So if you're going to Japan, watch. Well, I think he's got at least 2 videos where he goes all over Japan, and they're great. They're super helpful.
His wife's from Japan, I think.
I think so.
He's got family he can stay with.
Yeah,
that's nice. That's really nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I really checked out his stuff, and that really helped me organize my trip around Osaka and Tokyo. So I think he's coming to town here, Toronto. So I might be able to meet up with him. That would be fun. But he knows his Blue Notes like no one else.
He
does. Yeah, I think he It's hard when people come to town too. You don't know what their expectations are. I think he has very particular expectations about what he's looking for. He always talks about that, and I get that. I respect that. But it's hard, right? Because then if someone comes to town, like, where are you going to tell them where to go? And you know what I mean? Like, you guys super helped me out, but it would have been different if, like, we would have gone together. You know what I mean? We would have gone to one place and there's nothing there, and you kind of feel like, oh, normally it's good, Greg. Let's go somewhere else. You feel a little sense of responsibility for being a bit of a
Right.
host, right? City host.
Yeah, even Detroit, the shops live by the next collection. It's not like LA or San Francisco or
Yeah,
New York City, where there's just constant
I got.
streams of records.
Yeah.
San
No, it's
Francisco is
it's
where
the
you need to
same. It's the
go.
same here. There's a pretty stale set of bins, and then you get there at the right time, and it's killer, right? And you get decent prices. So,
If you ever go out to San Francisco,
hmm,
I basically reached out to some people in the Bay Area and they put me onto some shops. That's the best jazz I've seen in years.
really, in San
Yeah,
Francisco,
San Francisco. Yeah,
been ages
you
since
pay for it.
you
It's
pay
not.
for it.
It's not cheap.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's I need to be choosy when it comes to those things.
Yeah, I dropped. If you want to see it, I want to say last Friday in May or the first Friday of June, I went up on the Jazz Bum stream and spent an hour showing everything that I bought in 2 weeks in California.
Mm-hmm.
It
That's
was
sweet.
an epic haul.
Paul said he was just in San Diego too, so might ping him next week and see if he'll come up and talk about his finds. But otherwise, yeah, it's kind of deep summertime, right? So I don't know if
Mhm.
people get rid of their collections in the summer. Maybe, huh? I don't know if there's a flow to that, but
It all depends.
do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people moving in and moving out of Toronto, right? It's not like Detroit. Toronto has become incredibly expensive. And it's not just a COVID thing. There's a whole bunch of factors that are going on. So actually, I was just reading the paper this morning. Kind of 200,000 people there's a net exit of 200,000 people. You just can't afford to live here, right? So there's
Where
all that
people
to say that where are they
London?
going? No, they're going out to Alberta.
Oh, they're
For
out west.
during COVID, they were all going out to the Atlantic provinces, Halifax.
Okay.
It's very nice out there. Super nice. Very
Toronto
great
is a beautiful city. Your
standard of
city's
living.
beautiful. Very livable.
Yeah, it was a lot more livable when I moved here 20 years ago, but it's still great.
I like how you guys take more civic responsibility when you do in the States, like around litter and other things like that.
That's important. I think it's funny. People really the one way of looking at it is that people complain a lot in Toronto about the state of public infrastructure and what's on the
So,
streets
yeah, like
and
our
what's
city.
not on the streets. But I think I moved here from Boston, and I just remember thinking, oh my God, you're complaining about the transit system in Toronto. In Boston, that place is falling apart. The streetcars in Boston. I asked a friend like just 6 months ago, do they still have those green streetcars that are like rusting away? And like, yeah, they have. So yeah, we are lucky here, but people like to complain about
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah,
Well,
so
well, thank
it's
you.
a hangout summer. Right now it's a jazz festival actually in Toronto, but the jazz fest to go to is the one in Montreal, and ours is a bit of a, even though we're a larger city, it's a bit of an afterthought here, right? So like I'm not going to anything.
Well, Montreal's got a rep as one of the original scene towns, right? Oscar
Yeah,
Peterson
it,
from Montreal,
yeah.
or
I don't know. I thought maybe it was from Toronto actually.
is he from Toronto? I know he was Canadian.
Yeah, he's gonna. That's a good
Oh,
question.
you know, like the one famous session with the old players from the Savoy days. It was in Montreal, right, where they
No,
did
no,
that.
no. That was down. That was which one are you talking about? You're talking about the one in
The Hot House sessions, isn't that? Wasn't that
yeah, no,
last?
that was in Toronto.
That was in
What's
Toronto.
that
Okay,
was in Toronto. What's the name of the hall? Damn,
I want to say Massey,
Chris.
but I don't
Well,
know.
Chris is there. Was, yeah, Massey. That's right. The Massey Hall. And that actually is one of the most beautiful places to see a show, but you need to be really careful there because there's a lot of obstructed seats.
'Cause it's the vaudeville theater.
Yeah, but they have stained glass above and on the sides behind the stage. So there have been some shows that I've seen there that have just rocked, and you feel like you're in a church. It's a bit like the Grand Old Opry, I think is the comparison that people sometimes make.
The
So if you
acoustics
ever,
are
if
amazing.
yeah, if you ever come up this way or need a reason to come up there, that is a beautiful room. So I'm gonna say, well, it's a hall. It's all seated. I don't know, maybe
Well, I'm
1,000,
traveling a lot
800.
more these days because we're empty
Yeah,
nesters now, so
yeah, that
we
helps.
have
Yeah.
time.
But they did a big reno there, and apparently they added another club next door, and so I've been hearing them talking with the Massey folks that they want to make that kind of like a room of 200 or so. And so they brought a few jazz outfits through there. So I'm hoping that kind of picks up.
Yeah, if people will
Um,
go, that's all it takes.
yeah, exactly. So we'll see. Anyway, hey, it's great. I'm really happy you had time to pop up, and so I kind of bounce things off of you. I've got a
Yeah,
bit of a
anytime.
busy week, and it's our long weekend. It's yours coming up, right? So it's a
Yeah.
Canada Day on Monday for us. It's a long weekend, and you guys have the long weekend. So I was a bit too scattered, and I thought, hey, I'll just do a
No, it was
stream and
great.
go through this stuff, and so I enjoyed it. Hey, and I really appreciate all the recommendations. They were awesome. They
Oh,
were
it was
super
my
awesome.
pleasure. My pleasure.
All right, Jeffrey. We'll talk soon. Okay.
All
See you
right.
later. Okay. Bye.